Good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Dr. Lori Monaco. Welcome. Coming to you from sunny and effing hot Southern Connecticut, Florida hot and humid. I am your authenticity teacher, speaker, coach. I am your chiropractic physician. I am your fat eviction specialist and soon to be published author. Very excited about that. So welcome to Viva. Yay. Thanks for the applause. Love it. Thank you.
Good morning, buenos días, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru, here from ready to be sunny, Tampa, Florida. I don't feel like it's really that sunny out yet. But it is only about 8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it's not that muggy yet, so I'm happy. So who am I? Besides
Who are you?
Magically orgasmic, I am your wedding officiant, your notary, I am your author, your writer, your artist, I am your spiritual and creative healing life coach. I am that 50% namaste and 50% go do something with yourself. I am La Margarita, your gladiator guru.
Oh, you keeping it clean this morning.
Magically orgasmic. I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm not.
50% namaste.
I'm literally going to get my coffee as soon as the guest comes on because it's just been brewed. Yeah.
Look at how much tanner you are compared to me. Like I really look like a gringa. I'm as white. And mind you, I was out in the sun. So this is like kind of tan. And you're like all this like caramel, this beautiful Latina caramel color.
It's not on purpose. It's not like I'm laying out or anything. It's not on purpose. But thank you for your compliment. That sounds beautiful to be golden bronze.
Yeah, no, caramel. So it's even sweeter, It's like, a lot of people love caramel. So.
Oh, thank you. Gracias.
Like white chocolate, which is like not even real chocolate. I don't even know why they put it. It's like the crappiest stuff you could ever eat. So I'm like not even like or like a curdled cream, like it's not like it's not like a white, it's not really a brown, it's sort of like in between. So I like spoiled milk.
We are going to start the day off saying, I am beautiful. I am beautiful in my skin. My skin is beautiful because my skin is me and I am my skin. How are you today, Badass Buddha?
I'm good, but why am I not seeing us on Facebook? Like I'm not seeing the video pop up. Have you seen the live video pop up? I'm well, though. Thank you, Gladiator Guru, for asking. I'm doing well.
Good morning, yeah, right. Desiree, Tiffany, Brian. Good morning.
Tiffany's in the house. Okay, no, it says we're live now. I don't know. Facebook's been very funky with me lately. I've not been able to, it's slow and it doesn't load up fast. I post something, it takes forever. Maybe it just doesn't like me anymore. I don't know. But nonetheless, we're good. So yes, Chenille's in the house. Good morning. Arika Bolahala is in the house. Good morning. And fabulous. So this is, yes, we'll start off with a beautiful day. Gladiator Guru and I were talking briefly yesterday because we're just so busy all the time. So we used to have like regular meetings, but we've sort of been all over the place. But we're going to get back to that. So we decided to be a little bit tighter with the things that we're doing. So for instance, we're going to do our little intro. We're going to do our mantra and our intention. And then we're going to talk about our coffee. And then we're going to bring our beautiful guest on, the lovely Karen Sammer, who's been on before. And we just love Karen. She is just so real. That's what I love about Karen. She's just such a sweetheart and really cares greatly about humanity in health and in so many other levels. But she really has taken on a really big thing about just taking care of yourself and food and heart health and just so many other things. So we're happy to have her back. We just love Karen's just so much fun to talk to in general. So outside of the show, she's just such a sweet pea. So anyway, so shall we do our intention and our mantra, and we'll talk about some coffee?
Yes, first I want to say, good morning, sister. I love when my sisters say they love me. And Chanel, thank you. Good morning, buenos dias. Erica, she said those major internet outage impacts websites and apps around the world. Girl, that's like scary. And look what Desiree said. You're the vanilla ice cream to pour that caramel all over. That's what makes you go well together.
Hey, listen, it's been a while for both of us, so I don't know. You know, I don't know how open Gladiator Guru is to that. I'm
So that is Ana Laura. So that's good. Yes, let's set the intention.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about food addiction. So I thought it would be very good to set an intention for those out there that really do have challenges with controlling their food intake, you know, how much you eat, what type of foods you eat. So the intention we're going to set today is that I am in control of what I eat, how much I eat, and how much I love myself. I am in control of what I eat, how much I eat, and how much I love myself. Because a lot of times we eat emotionally to make ourselves feel better, but also at the same time to sort of sabotage ourselves, to make ourselves to be angry at ourselves, because we know that we don't want to really be eating this and we eat it anyway. So that's the intention for today, that you have more control over what you put in to your body as far as food is concerned than you believe yourself to be sometimes. So that's the intention. And the mantra, Gladiator Guru.
It's beautiful. The mantra, I didn't customize it around food. The mantra is just, I don't have my notepad with me, so I'm trying to remember.
It's okay.
My shower went longer. What's the mantra to be? So since you said the food, let's have the mantra to be, I don't know if I'm going to make this another intention, but to be kind to yourself. If you're kind to yourself, then you can monitor, you can, what's that word? I'm sorry that I'm not prepared. I don't have my coffee. I don't have my notepad. Be kind to yourself. When you, as the Badass Buddha says, love yourself. When you love yourself and you're kind to yourself, then you are aware of what you put in your body, what you do in excess. Our impulsive eating of a pint of
Ben and Jerry's. Notice how quickly I said
that's not my go-to. My go-to is Mediterranean mint gelato. So, not that I've had it in a while, but now you got me like, ugh. Yeah, you don't want to sit there and watch like a Netflix series while eating that little pint of Mediterranean mint. So be kind to yourself. Be aware of yourself. There it is.
Good. All right. So what are you drinking? Well, you don't have your coffee yet.
I
but
don't.
But you've made it though. You've made it. And by the way, we do have Gladiator Guru. We pushed back Gladiator Guru's coffee demo. We pushed it back a little bit because we needed to rearrange some stuff. But I think we have it at the end of June 29th.
Oh, no, I thought we weren't going to pick a date until I had my kitchen done.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're changing it again. So that means we have an open spot for a guest. And we have guests like lined up, like people are out. We are scheduled out to October, the end of October. That's how many people want to get on the show. We have people that have been on the show that have been asking to come back on because they have so much fun. And so now that's good. So what I'll do is I'll fix I'll fix it yet again.
Because I thought we discussed that the last time until my kitchen's done. And then, mi gente, when the kitchen's done, we'll do an impromptu one. We're not going to schedule a month in advance or nothing. We're going to be magical with it. It's not a lot I need to get done. I need to change a sink. But yeah. And then we'll
Okay.
be like pop up. We're gonna pop up like slut magic.
Magic.
Margarita. So just
Why
it's
are sluts so magical? That's what I want to
because we
ask
are.
Tiffany.
There's
That's
some
what I
hard
Tiffany,
people.
because Tiffany came up with that, right? So I want to ask her why. What is it about sluts that they're so magical?
It's about, you know what, they make them so terrible, and they just, so you just gotta switch a couple words and make things positive and add magic. Petey says she's drinking cafe aroma. I like that. Not all the time, but I do like that. And
Do you
good
know what you're
morning,
drinking?
Querida.
Do you know what you're drinking this morning,
Oh,
Gladiator
this
Guru?
morning, yes, this morning I am drinking Cafe Bustelo.
Okay.
Cafe Bustelo.
That's usually your go-to, right?
Because yeah, it's that or Naviera, but with a hint of coconut milk, and that's it. And all I did was brew the coffee, so my milk's not even heated up yet. But yeah, so what is coffee to you?
Well, can I say my coffee?
Yeah, go right ahead. You got 2 seconds.
I tried something new today. It's called Kicking Horse Coffee, Grizzly Claw, and it's organic, and it's rich dark chocolate. I don't really taste the chocolate. You would like this one though. It does not taste like, it's not flavored. I know you're not a big flavor fan, but I really truly don't taste the chocolate, but it's strong. It's like, it's very strong coffee. I think you would like this one though. So I actually made it a little bulletproof this morning. I actually, instead of leche, I put the butter in and made it a latte. And then I'm switching to black, but it's pretty good though. It's not bad. So what is coffee? Your question was, what does coffee, what
is coffee? Desiree loving the plan for guests. Oh, we've been having this plan. It's awesome. Everybody, if you can put in good morning, Henny. If you can put in what you're drinking, Anita, what are you drinking? Thank you, Petey. Just let's start with the coffee thing. Yeah, what does coffee mean to you? Coffee means many things to different people. It can just be, it's habitual. It's something I do. I know people who only drink coffee on the weekends because they get up and they're so late. They're running late. So they do what they got to do. They get to work, and then maybe mid-morning they'll get a coffee. And then they'll drink coffee on the weekends because they're home. How many people are like that? What do you think about that?
I think most are trained to get it, like, especially now that everybody's going back to work, that it's like you leave your house, you go get your coffee. I mean, I used to do that, but I actually prefer brewing my own coffee now. And there are studies, though, that do say that if you drink water in the morning first, for like the first 2 hours that you wake up, and then you have your coffee, it actually works better for your it has to do with your serotonin levels and your melatonin level, because your melatonin's coming down. That's your sleep hormone, and then your serotonin levels are coming up, and it sort of helps balance it. So as serotonin naturally comes up and melatonin naturally goes down, 2 hours later there starts to be a little bit of a dip, and so the coffee actually can come swoop in at that moment. So but whatever works for the individual. I mean, I sometimes like an afternoon cup of coffee. I don't know. It's something.
Well, I'll have 5 cups of coffee a day. So that's, you know, I have to have a cup of Bustelo or whatever espresso right before I go to sleep, or I don't sleep. But my question is, how does anybody function without that first? Okay.
Well, that's what Desiree wrote. How can anyone do anything without coffee?
It's because I am a coffee connoisseur. Maybe it's because I've been trained since 3 years old that coffee is what you have in the morning before you do anything.
Yeah, it's like habitual.
Like that but first coffee shit is for real. And it's like, I don't. It's not okay to get up in the morning, do whatever you have to do, drive to work, say good morning to people, and they say, oh shit, I should have a cup of coffee. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That's You're an okay coffee drinker. Don't tell me I'm a coffee aficionado. No, because coffee, and that's my opinion. I don't care who agrees with me. But coffee is just, it is my best friend. Coffee is my confidant. Coffee is when I get up in the morning, no matter if I just had 2 hours of sleep, which is I'm working I'm working on 3.5 hours. Coffee is that I can sit down, because I also value my first cup of coffee, which means I don't sip it as I'm running through the house, as I'm doing my hair and putting my makeup on. No, my first cup of coffee is a one-on-one. So by the time I'm on Viva and I'm sipping my cup, that's normally either it's already halfway done, and then you see I have my black thing. It's my second cup of coffee. So that's what I do. I just enjoy it. I savor it. I feel it. It's like I feel that hug, that warm hug that says, no pasa nada, Margie. No pasa nada, Margarita. Like, we're going to get through this day. So maybe it's because coffee has so many melancholic memories attached to it, or it's something that always made me feel safe. Like after a nightmare at 3 o'clock in the morning, abuelita would say, "Vente," and make me a cup of coffee at 4 or 5 years old, because I had a nightmare. So it became something that was there for me in the good and the bad. But mostly it was there for comfort. I had a bad dream. I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm having a cup of cafe con leche. You know, that's why coffee is it's my soundboard. I get up, I drink my coffee. I'm thinking about all these things I got to do. It's like, I throw it out there. I take a sip. It comes back like, oh, okay, that's what I thought I was having. How many people feel like that about cafe? It's like the love of a baby kitten, says Desiree. Anna says coffee. It's an addiction, and I'm a crackhead without it. Yeah, you get moody. You get 20 minutes after I'm up, like I'm trying to be nice right now. If I don't have my coffee, I do.
Well, then maybe let's get Karen on so you could go get your coffee.
But you're not going to say nothing about coffee?
Well, you said a lot, and it's getting later, so we have to get.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. Peggy left and said exactly, but I don't know what she's saying exactly to. So, yeah, that's coffee. Me. That's coffee. And you know
Fabulous.
What? That's being in love with coffee. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it this morning.
Well, fabulous. So let's get the lovely Karen on, because we really would love to talk about food addiction. This is actually a very, very good conversation, and we really need to soak as much of Karen in as possible. So we're going to pull Karen on, and we're going to start this conversation. And Gladiator Guru, if you want to run and get your coffee, by all means, go get it. Good morning, Karen.
What you do now? Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, ladies.
How are you? Looking like a garden this morning.
Oh, you sweet.
We can't wait. We cannot wait to actually get like in a room with Karen, because Karen is she's just such, I'm telling you, there's, when you meet somebody and you just hit this like energetic connection, and she's just such a sweet pea and such a sweetheart, and just, and so it's like, I can't wait, because I know all we'll do is laugh. Like, I have a feeling that's all we're going to do is just laugh. So we're going to have to meet somewhere, because you're in Jersey, right? You're in Jersey. Yeah. I'm sorry, by the way, but no, I'm just kidding. And so we'll have to figure out, like, we're gonna have to. I think we should just take a trip. Like, I think we should.
I'm in.
You know what? Cape May's really nice. I love Cape May.
Lovely down there. Yeah.
So we could have Guru come up, and we can like just chill out on the beach and all that lovely stuff. So
either Karen's gonna cook us a healthy meal, or we're all gonna be like rabbits and eating lettuce. So yeah, so we'll make it work. All right, you welcome, bienvenida to Viva Cafe con Leche.
I'm so
magic happen while I make my coffee. You get my coffee.
Go have your coffee.
Okay, so Karen, one of the things that this is a really, really important conversation, and here's why. Food addiction is a really serious problem because we cannot escape it. It's not like alcohol. It's not like drugs. Not that that's easy to escape. What I mean is that you can control having alcohol or drugs sitting in your house, but food, we have to have it to survive. Okay. The other thing is I was reading an article, actually a couple of articles this week, because I was doing some research on this. And so because of the pandemic, the food, therapists have been inundated with people getting in touch with them with eating disorders. And when people think of eating disorders, they often think of people who have anorexia. And eating disorder is either way. It's either the one side, which is anorexia nervosa, or it could be bulimia nervosa somewhere in the middle. And then it could be binge eating and overeating on the other side. And a lot of people are contacting therapists for the overeating piece, that they're emotionally eating, they're overeating, and people have gained a lot of weight. I know I gained a lot of weight. I didn't gain a lot of weight. I gained like 10 pounds in a month last year, but then I lost 40 because of the program that I do. But I've known a lot of people who've really suffered with this. And then reading these articles, it was very eye-opening to me to realize that, because food addiction is one piece of it. And then you have the emotional eating element, and then you put those together. So go do your thing. Let you go ahead and just talk away about this while I, sit there and type away to people.
Well, thank you for having me here, number one. And hopefully you won't ask me to leave if I tell you I do not drink coffee.
No, there's no judgment at all. In fact, for a long time I was drinking chicory instead of coffee, which, by the way, if you don't want to drink coffee, like, chicory is a really great alternative. It tastes a lot like coffee. So, but no, we still love you, Karen. Don't worry.
Okay. And I love you guys back. So food addiction, I think, has really reared its ugly head more so now during this last 16 months that we've been kind of in incarceration almost. We've all been locked down, especially in the very beginning. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear around this whole situation, a lot of the unknown. Nobody really knew what to do. People were afraid to leave their homes. Yes. They were stuck at home with their television, their ice cream, their potato chips, whatever. And whatever it is that gives them that comfort, that initial, that momentary comfort that they get from eating whatever it is that causes them their dopamine to be released and all of their feel-good hormones to just kind of come to the surface. But the really horrible thing about all of this is, I think that a lot of the food addiction, and this may get controversial, so stay tuned, but a lot of the food addiction,
perfect platform for that. So
that's why I'm here. That's why I love this. But the food is specifically manufactured to get you addicted.
Oh yeah.
Because, the companies wouldn't stay in business if you didn't keep coming back for more. So they actually have scientists on staff that find that sweet spot in food that makes you come back for more all the time. You may not even realize that you're doing it, but it is, to me, it's so sinister. I think it's so underhanded that this happens. But the chemicals in the food actually cause you to become addicted like a drug.
Yes.
And I'm sure, Buddha, you know this, that when there have been experiments done on rats that addict them to what they've done is they've addicted them to cocaine and they've addicted them to sugar.
Yes, I heard.
Right. And first of all, they find out that sugar lights up the same part of your brain as the cocaine does when you're addicted to it. And also, when the rat is given the choice between going for the sugar or going for the cocaine, almost always they'll go for the sugar rather than the cocaine. So the sugar, the addiction to sugar is even more profound than the addiction to an illicit drug.
Yeah, and the reason behind that has to do a lot with, it's not just what's lighting up in the brain, right? Because we both know that it's the dopamine areas especially that light up. I mean, dopamine lights up with cocaine, heroin, alcohol, sugar, and like it could be anything that excites you, but it's the taste. And so that's the added piece to it, is the taste. Right. Of and so you get this explosion of neural pathways that are all excited and stimulated. And so like with cocaine, it's like, well, you get your brain stimulated, but that's it, which is powerful enough.
There's no
But then
flavor
you
to
get
it.
the taste, and then you're like, wow, and you're right. It's really, really terrible because it's always around us.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you said before is you can live without alcohol. You can live without cocaine or whatever drug of choice there is, that you have. You can live without whatever else you could be addicted to. You cannot live without food. So it's a matter of managing the food that you intake and managing the level of the amount of food that you take in.
Yes.
Right? So what I did find, so as you know, I am a cancer survivor. And when I first developed cancer, I was under an awful treatment protocol. It was for 6 months. I was pretty much down and out. And during that time, I couldn't eat very well because everything tasted like pennies in my mouth. So nothing tasted good to me, which I guess is good or bad. I don't know which. I could eat peanut butter because peanut butter had a strong enough flavor that it kind of overtook the metal taste in my mouth for a while. But what I decided to do was that since I was going to change my health, take control of my own health and change my life, I gave up processed sugar. And when I gave up processed sugar, that was absolutely a game changer for me. It was, and now I was already feeling so lousy that if I went through withdrawal from that, I didn't notice it because I was feeling crappy anyway. But there is a serious, when you eliminate sugar from your diet, especially processed sugar, you could very potentially go through a withdrawal that's very similar to a drug withdrawal.
Yeah.
I'm also a former smoker, and my body went through a withdrawal process. The physical withdrawal was over in probably a week. The psychological withdrawal is quite a different story.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that, and I still, here I am 10 years, 11 years later, and I still can be drawn in. I don't succumb to it usually. I would say ever. But I could still be drawn in by something that looks appealing to me or smells appealing to me, because if you're talking about food, you've got the sensory, the other senses involved. If you compare it to drugs versus food, right? That you don't have the smell. Maybe if marijuana is your thing, the smell of that might kind of trigger your reaction. But it's cocaine. You don't really smell. I don't think. I mean,
that's more visual. Like
right,
when people see doing when drug addicts see, because that study's been done too, where they see drug usage that stimulates the part of their brain that hungers for the drug.
Right.
But you already have to have been exposed. Well, I guess it's the same deal here. It's like, if you don't expose somebody to certain foods, they're not inclined to get excited about because they don't know.
Right.
But it's just like the first moment you ever watch a young child, like a baby, eat something sweet, they are like their face lights up and they just want it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but if you introduce the sweet stuff before you introduce the savory, chances are pretty good that you're going to have a hard time getting them to eat the savory food, right? It's the sweet stuff that they're going to want. And they're going to always, if they have the choice, they're always going to go for that. I mean, that's just.
Yeah. And I'll tell you that addiction starts very young, because I remember when I was in full-time practice, I had where my practice was located. I had, whatever, I had very varied backgrounds of patients coming in. And I used to see this and I would cringe. Where they would have their 1, 2, even 3-year-old with the bottle, sometimes the 3-year-old had the bottle, and they would have chocolate milk in it. They'd have strawberry milk in it. They would have soda in the bottle. And I would cringe, and I'd ask them, and that time I was like very overweight myself. I was not in very good health. However, it's like I had the knowledge because I went to school for it. I just wasn't practicing it for myself. But I would ask them, I'd say, why are you putting why are you putting soda in why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, oh, I don't know, because, and it was sort of like they were raised around that. So like they just did it. They never questioned it. And I cringe just thinking of it now, and I was a soda drinker at that time, but I didn't have it that much. And I did give it to my kids. We didn't have it that much. But when my kids were on the bottles, like when I wasn't breastfeeding and they were on the bottle, they pretty much had, or a sippy cup, it was just water.
Yeah.
That was really all they drank. They weren't even really big juice fans. And so,
And
that was just, so that's where it starts, and then we look at our obesity problems and we see how much younger people are now being obese. And now why that is, because this is what's happening at such a young age.
Well, that, and the drive-through and the fast food, but also you talked about juice being in the bottles as well. Juice is it's marginally better than soda.
Absolutely, because of the sugar.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yes.
You're getting all of the sugar and none of the benefit of the full fruit.
Right.
If a child is going to have fruit, they should have the actual fruit, not fruit juice.
Exactly.
Because you're not getting any of the fiber. All you're getting is the sugar rush from that, and that's just like drinking soda, really. But especially some of the juices that have added sugar in them, right? And not even if they're not 100% fruit juice.
They're not juice, right? It's colored. I call it colored sugar water. Like you get these big gallon things from like the discount markets, and it says fruit punch, and it's not at all. All it is literally a big thing of water with colored, coloring and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't question it necessarily.
Well, they don't. If it has the flavor of the fruit somewhat, then they figure that's what they're getting is the fruit juice, and that's not necessarily the case. But also,
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. But we grew up. My generation. I'm going to speak for my family. I hate juice. First of all, I only drink water, tea, and coffee. But the 25-cent juices, they look like little barrels. Like they're shaped. The plastic is shaped like a little barrel. Mm-hmm. And has that little wrap on top that you take off.
The aluminum wrap on top.
Yeah, you get like 20 of them for like $5. It's like the ramen noodle deal. Yeah. And I just can never understand how people would buy those for their kids. Right. It's disgusting. Now, Neil wrote something very interesting, if you can read it.
This one, the long one?
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I'd introduced fruit and sweets to my child until around 9 months. Then I started with peaches and apples. We did all the veggies first. Now her eating habits are amazing. She is a pescatarian at 12. She has never had soda in her life and doesn't even want it. Good for you, Chanel.
Oh, wonderful.
Good for you.
What a great way to raise a kid.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
I'll tell you. So and to reverse it, like if you don't start your child that way, to reverse it is very challenging. Yeah. And so I remember when my youngest, who's going to be 8, she was actually a really, really good eater. She was eating everything. I started to introduce stuff to her. And what happened was that she was around 2 when I hit my really rock bottom place. And I became like completely incapable of even taking care of myself, to where I could barely muster up the energy to take care of the kids. And so, unfortunately, I would literally just buy whatever I could that would just be quick and easy. And it was microwave stuff, and it just plop it in front of her, and that was it. Well, that set a really bad habit into place. And so by the time I finally got myself together and was able to she had already formed the habit, and it has been years to undo the habit. Years. Part because even when I do intervene and push it, her dad will come in, and then because it's not just, when you have 2 parents involved, it's not just about one. You could have one parent giving the child all the right things, but the other parent's coming around and giving them the junk. The kids are always going to go right back. It's just like an alcoholic, and in one household, they're like, there's no alcohol, and they go to another house and there's like, oh, you could have the drink. What are they going to do? Of course, they're going to want to have the drink because that's what they really are craving. So it takes a long time to reverse that. Until she's at an age now where I explain it to her. This is why mommy doesn't want you to have it. This is why we need to eat this. This is why you need to eat more of this. And she's getting it. Like, she's actually requesting things, which I'm so grateful for, so, but it's a really serious thing. And I, to this day, struggle with food addictions. I always have to be very mindful. I'm not always successful because I do get into my emotional headspace where I'm really just having a crap day, and God, some potato chips would just really do the trick, and it is in that moment that it does. But then afterwards I have my regret, it's like afterwards I feel awful and I'm like, was it worth it? I always say no. So it's like the hangover, the food hangover, I call it.
Well, I always tell my clients when they, first of all, when you fall off the wagon, give yourself some grace, right?
Yes.
The constant bombardment of all the food messages that we get, it's a wonder that we're not all sitting at the back of a pickup truck eating potato chips. Like it just doesn't. It's just the whole machine is just it is designed to make you do that. But give yourself some grace when you fall off the wagon, and don't beat yourself up about it. But also listen to the feedback your body is giving you after eating that junk. And hopefully you'll be able to hold on to that feeling the next time you feel like you want to have something that isn't going to serve you. Right. And try to redirect your attention, because when we're feeling sorry for ourselves, or when we are having an emotional meltdown, if you have, in a situation that sounds like, like you have two parents that are kind of at odds with each other, trying to raise a kid one way, the other one is doing the direct opposite just to piss you off. That can all kind of play into the whole dynamic of how you are treating.
Actually, that's a good point. It isn't even done to piss me off. It's done because of his own food addictions. It's done because of his own inability to have self-control. And it's this guilt thing. And a lot of parents do this. A lot of parents feel like, oh my God, my kid's not eating, so I'm just going to give them whatever they want.
Right.
And believe me, I'm going to say this really, your children are not starving. I mean, like truly, like most kids not saying, now I don't want to get misquoted here, because there are children in the US that are actually starving. Right. But there's two ways to look at it. There's the ones children, the one set that are legitimately starving, like they really don't have enough to eat. They for a lot of reasons. Then there's another way to look at it. There's children that look very healthy, even overweight, and they are actually starving, but what they're starving is nutrients. They are only eating junk. And so if we look at it that way and we start to step up and say, do I want to allow my kid to have this cookie because do I want them to have it, or does it make me feel better to give it to them? And then you're setting them up for nasty habits and addictions.
Right. But the thing is, you're in the moment, and you're always, I think that it's been my experience with clients, with my own behavior, actually, also years ago, is that I'll take care of it tomorrow. Okay, I'm just going to have this, fill in the blank. I'm just going to have this pint of Ben & Jerry's today. Tomorrow I'll start my diet, right?
Or I won't eat it ever again. That's
exactly. Well, and by the time you're done with that pint and you feel so sick because you ate the whole thing, then, you at that moment, you might probably feel like you'll never eat it again until the next time you crave it. But, we have... So you brought up a really good point about how we have starving children. We have legitimately, we have a lot of food insecurity in this country. There is a lot of food insecurity where people don't know where their next meal is coming from. That's number one. That is true legitimate. That is not that it's not, there's any illegitimate starving, but that's true starvation. There's also the nutrient starvation because of the fast food, because of the bags of stuff and the boxes of stuff and the drive-throughs and whatever. That is nutrient starvation, right? What you said, which causes a lot of cravings, right? Because a lot of times when you are craving something, it's because you have a nutrient deficiency.
Yes.
And you'll notice, and I'll give you an example that I give most of my female clients, is that, if you are premenstrual and you have a craving for chocolate, you may have a magnesium deficiency, because there is a correlation between chocolate craving and magnesium deficiency. I'm not a scientist, but I would expect that magnesium deficiency is more prevalent when you're premenstrual, because everything is all in flux, or even menstrual, when you're in the middle of your period. But oftentimes the craving is representing a deficiency of some sort of nutrient that you are just not getting enough of in your diet, or you're not supplementing properly, or whatever it is. But we also have a situation.
Gladiator Guru wants to say something. She's raising.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt you. I think what you have to say is so important. But we're talking about deficiencies. What about people who eat ice all day?
Oh, eat ice all day. That's interesting. But is it possible that, that you may be getting into a psychological area that I can't speak to.
Okay.
But It might be the crunch. And they're looking for something crunchy. They're looking for cold. They're looking for, maybe they're thirsty. We walk around in a state of dehydration most of the time. If you're not drinking more than you would expect to be enough water, you're probably in a state of dehydration.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Sure.
I know someone who walks around with 2, the big tumblers that they're white on top, 2 of those.
With ice?
There they go. And they fill it up throughout the day. And so Anna wrote it's an iron deficiency.
Yeah, Anna and Chanel both said that they believe it's an iron deficiency.
No kidding. Okay, so I had not heard that. I did not know
and
that.
And see, so does Beth. See?
Beth, that's my niece.
Oh, Beth, iron, yeah, often represents
anemia. Oh, thank you, Beth Ann.
Yeah, so, I believe that. I believe that, but it's become such an addiction.
Well,
they can't even have a conversation unless their cup is filled with ice.
I had not ever heard that before. That's an interesting thing. That's good to know.
No, but
we all learn something new. That's the beauty of sharing information.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for letting us know too that it's an iron deficiency.
Yeah,
and thank you for Gladiator Group for bringing that up.
Well, just to know. Thank you. Keep talking because it's good. Sometimes we know, but we forget, and we need to be reminded and become aware of when we are craving certain things. I absolutely hate salt. I don't cook with salt. I don't like salty foods. I don't like sweets. I don't ever crave a pastry or anything like that. The only sweets I put is when I have my monk fruit. and I only use 1 scoop of that. I'm a food. I love food. So
like real food.
Yeah, no.
But do you like certain foods? Like, do you like carbs more? Do you like certain vegetables?
Well, I was an addict. I'm Puerto Rican and Italian. So bread was like required for every meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
How about white rice? Was white rice a requirement in every meal too? Or
arroz con gandules. And if we had white rice, we had it with red beans and some fried pork chops. Or some, there had to be something fried up in there. But I haven't eaten pasta or rice or bread in a while because with the fat eviction specialist, with that training, it taught me a lot. And it did make me feel like shit. Like you wonder your life. I'm just like I'm this fat pig. Every time I eat, I'm going to blow up. And, you go thinking that that's the normal for so long. So I don't do that. Like, no, I love now what I do, and that I shouldn't do, but I love just the cheeseburger. That's it. Not with the bread, just the meat.
Just the burger, yeah.
Lately I've been having my cauliflower. I've been eating right lately since I've been home, so I've been happy with that. But I love food. I love the salads with the grilled chicken and the walnuts and the dry, that sort of stuff. But in my days where I would eat anything, my favorite go-to was a cheeseburger and French fries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it was a boost. But do you see what you were saying? Like, as you're describing the grilled chicken, you're like, you do what you do. You're that wordsmith. You are so excited and you're passionate about it. And it's like, but most people don't do that. We don't sit there and go, oh my God, an avocado, or although sometimes we do for an avocado, but like some people be like, oh my God, I can't wait to have that, that big salad with the peppers. It's most people are like, oh my God, that ice cream, it's like big part of it is a programming too, because when you watch TV, actually you can't get away with it now. Whether you watch TV, and if you say, oh, I'm not a TV watcher, but I watch like videos on YouTube you'll still get them. And the food advertisements, so it goes along with the chemicals within the food that make us addicted, but then the advertisement is physical and emotional addiction. You see everybody having a good time and, okay, how about this one for an eye opener, right? Next time you see a cereal commercial, say like everybody's so happy eating the cereal. First of all, the children's cereals have a ridiculous amount of sugar. You might as well just give them candy, and you wouldn't give your kid candy for breakfast, but you'll give them a sugar cereal. Okay. Aside from that piece, next time you see a commercial for cereal, I want you to think about this. The reason cereal was developed in the first place was to combat masturbation in mental hospitals. That is why. Yes.
But masturbation is healthy.
Right. Well, but apparently in the mental
How does
ward,
that stop it from happening?
isn't that the funniest thing though? And I
I've
found
never heard
that
of such a thing.
my kid had to do a project on it, and I was helping her research, and I'm like, she goes, "Mom, could you believe this?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And it was like, I forget when it was in the 1800s that one of the docs decided that they needed to give their patients something to do because they were always jerking off. And so they created cereal. And it's not like the cereal so much today. It was like crunchy. It wasn't really have much taste to it, but it would occupy them. So the next time, if you want to stay away from the cereals, just think that people were jerking off. That's why they created this.
That ought to wreck your appetite.
But Anna says, is it the sugar or the crunching? I think it's both, because when I'm angry, which my parents created walking time bombs, I like crunch food. That's my go-to. I crunch. It keeps me busy. It keeps me from putting my foot in my mouth or hurting somebody's feelings. So yeah, I think it can be for both. I like the crunching. Good morning, Toji. But look what Michelle wrote about the sugar.
Cutting sugar out of my life was the best thing I ever did. Yep. That and committing to hypnotherapy completely changed my relationship with food and myself. Yes. Sugar. So the culprits for sugar, first off, out of all the things, sugar is known. This has been proven in research that is addictive. It is addictive.
Absolutely.
Like they don't even pretend. If you type in sugar addiction, you will, and then say research, you'll pop up all types of research that actually say this. They say this, right? So when people are talking about clean diets, most of the time they're talking about cutting things out like gluten, cut out dairy, cut out sugar, processed foods, right? And if it's too much to say I'm going to go cold turkey, the best thing to do first, truly, is to cut out the sugar, the processed sugar first off, but also you have to be mindful about the amount of fruit you're eating, because fruit has a lot of sugar. So you want to go for the stuff that has the least amount of sugar. Like berries tend to have less sugar than certain fruits. Like pineapple, grapes, watermelon, the mangoes, they have a lot more sugar, especially the grapes and the watermelon. So you want to lessen it that way as well. But start in increments. Do the sugar first, because that's the hardest one.
But once you do that, you have such control over what you eat. It's amazing. It's amazing how you can be so much more discerning about what you eat. You're not just going to grab whatever is walking by. You can actually control yourself, and the cravings go away. I found that the cravings went away when I did that, and your sugar fluctuations, your blood sugar fluctuations stop. Your blood sugar is on a much more even keel. It's just incredible. It's mind blowing, but there is sugar in everything. If you buy a packaged food, there is sugar in it somewhere in there, and it's probably multiple different ways. If you look at a food label, you will find sugar represented about 5 to 7 times easily, and you wouldn't even necessarily recognize the name.
Why do you think so?
Why is that? Why do I think so? Well, because sugar is a flavor enhancer. It's a preservative. It's addictive, right? So that when you buy this product, when you buy soup that has sugar in it, why the hell do you have to put sugar in soup? Why do you have to put it in salad dressing? Why do you have to put it in spaghetti sauce? Tomatoes are sweet enough. I don't think it needs to be in spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, ketchup is loaded with sugar. Most people realize. That's why people like it. That's why people like it.
Why, exactly.
It's disgusting.
But that's what it is. It's the sugar that draws you back. It brings you back in to buy it again. Because the food companies wouldn't stay in business if we didn't keep going back and buying their crap, right? I mean, it's a business decision that they've made to make you an addict to their products.
And don't be fooled by the sugar-free stuff, because then the sugar-free stuff is substituted with chemical stuff, and the chemicals work the same exact way. They will make you addicted, and we don't even know fully how these chemicals really respond in our body.
Everybody thinks, only in America you order a double stacked cheeseburger, French fries loaded with chili and cheese, and get a Diet Coke. And Diet Cokes, to me, anything diet is worse than just drink the regular shit.
Yeah. It's diet. So your body, when you do that, when you introduce an artificial sweetener into your body is looking for that. So sugar, certain types of sugar actually do give you some nutritional value. Not usually the white processed crap that we eat.
No, we need sugar. I mean, glucose is what feeds every cell.
Almost everything converts to glucose, right?
Right.
So, but if you're consuming something that's got an artificial sweetener in it, your taste buds have already told you there's sugar involved here, but you're not getting the sugar. You're getting this artificial chemical, and your body's still looking for that. So it causes you to have cravings for a nutrient because you're not getting a nutrient. And and you're constantly your body is looking for that, whatever it is that you're depleted of. And so then it results in a craving.
Yes.
So and then, yeah, God knows what those chemicals are doing long term. We already know that a lot of them, they're killing our gut microbiome, right?
Yep.
They're so many of the chemicals that have been used as artificial sweeteners were years ago banned as pesticides because they were so carcinogenic and they were so bad for us. Aspartame was a banned substance for many years. And then all of a sudden it became something that we put in soda.
Yes.
That's insanity.
Yes.
And remember, I don't, you guys may not be old enough to remember this, but there was a substance called cyclamates that they replaced saccharin with. So saccharin was the sweetener that they used. What's that? Say it again.
I remember used to have it still does, I think. Do they still use saccharin? I remember when they had it on there, it said
that's what sweet low is.
Known to cause cancer in rats. It used to have it on the actual.
Yes. Yeah.
Do they still do that? I don't know.
If they do. I don't use any of that stuff.
But
so saccharin was the sweetener of choice, an artificial sweetener. Then they banned it because it was a carcinogenic.
Sweet and low was saccharin.
Sweet and low, it still is. Then so they banned that and they brought in cyclamates, and then they found out cyclamates was a problem. So then they got rid of cyclamates and they brought back saccharin. All of a sudden you're okay with saccharin. And then they have aspartame and they have sucralose and they have all the others, whatever else they have. I mean, but every one of them has been at some point used for something to kill something. And so what it's doing is it's killing our microbiome. And it's in our microbiome, that's our second brain. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's our second brain. It has such an influence on every aspect of our health. And if that is not working, if that's out of order, you have all kinds of trouble. There are so many things that are connected to your gut imbalance that by simply getting your gut back in balance, you can solve. And it's just, but if we're eating all this junk, all this manufactured food that our body does not recognize, our body does not recognize those substances as food. It doesn't know what to do with them.
So it doesn't know what to do with them, and it's still hungry.
It's still hungry because it's still looking for the nutrition that it's not getting, right? Yeah. So that's why you get those cravings, is because your body's not getting fed. And then so in our country, we are the most overfed and undernourished country in the first world, I think. We just have in Western society generally, I think, is just overfed and undernourished.
And partially the reason for that is if you look at what Europe allows, so any American-based foods, whether they're manufactured in the US or they're restaurants, if you go into Europe, their guidelines are very different. Absolutely. And they are not allowed to sell this. They are not allowed to have this much product in it, blah, blah, blah. But yet we cannot we don't do the same in our own country. Right. So why are European guidelines so much more strict? Even their drugs are more strict. Yeah. Their version of the FDA more strict. And we choose to just people don't know, or they don't want to know. But to me, that's weird. I mean, like, I'm saying it as like a layperson. To me, that's weird, right? If you sell McDonald's over there, why is the meat and everything in all the products they use different than here? Wouldn't it technically be the same? And that's because they don't allow certain chemicals. Europe banned FD&C coloring, food coloring years ago, long before we did it out of, we kind of have to now because people made such a big deal. Why would we ban food coloring in Europe and then still have it here? And then all of a sudden, yellow was linked to ADHD and autism. And then there was started to be such a big thing. So here's what they do a lot of times with the manufacturers is they just change the name.
Right.
So they still have it. but they just changed the name, and then okay, I don't see it there anymore.
Exactly.
And it's like, to read a label is like, you have to have a chemical degree, and you have to know what
and a magnifying glass.
And a magnifying glass. You know what? You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
it's like in Europe, in Asia, in Central America, I don't eat McDonald's. I believe that was linked to when my granddaughter got leukemia, because she had nuggets every day after daycare, and I just don't trust it. But they also have a side healthy dish. Like in Colombia, they had what their healthiness is, and you saw the chef back there just cutting up the fresh vegetables. In Asia, they had one of their, they're cooking it right there, like whatever it was, but it was fresh. Aside from the regular, but their menus are still different from the States. Like they don't have all that other stuff, and they do have some of their local foods in the McDonald's thing. And I thought that was so genius, because here it's just your basic. There's nothing engaging you. But why? That we can ask why all day. The why is because in order for they to maintain what they're doing, they need to keep us sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can buy a 4 for $4 at a fast food restaurant, but to go get fruits and vegetables that are gonna nourish you, you're spending $25 on something for people. So you're gonna have to weigh your life. Is my life worth this money, or am I just whatever? Everybody's gonna die type of attitude. Then go to fucking McDonald's.
Yeah, but if you're gonna die, wouldn't you like to live until you die? I mean, yes, everybody's gonna die. But to be vibrant?
But shockingly, no, because that's the question. So most people want to live longer, but then you have to say, okay, we can live longer, because we know that's possible. Yeah. But it's also not about length of time; it's about your quality of life. So if you're going to be on 10 different medications, and you're going to barely be able to move, you're diabetic, you keep getting sores on your foot, you might have to go on kidney dialysis, you go in and out of the hospital. That to me is not a quality of life. Absolutely. And we could have Karen on like regularly, because this is the part that pisses me off as a physician, is that not only do I believe that it is systematically put this way. So like, if we keep everybody sick with the foods that we put in and we get them addicted to it, then the pharmaceutical companies turn around and you have to have all these products. So it's just beautiful. It's a moneymaker for everybody. Mm-hmm. But what pisses me off even more, and this goes into our first conversation with you when we're talking about the disparity with the treatment of people with heart issues, right? So if you notice, socioeconomically speaking, it is those in the inner city and those that are, quote, the minorities, which we hate that word. They're the ones that are the least healthy. They're
disproportionately affected. Disproportionately,
because it's that, these are cheaper, I could afford these. And I think that was purposeful. Like, I really do. I believe that was purposeful. I think it was because if you've ever been on food stamps are interesting. And I don't know if they've changed, but I know years ago, I was pregnant, but I had a miscarriage. This was like when I was with my first husband. I went on to, what is it called? WIC.
WIC is the Women, Infants, and Children.
Right. So I got it's like they give you the voucher and you can go and get it. Right. Well, on the thing, first of all, I had to sign an agreement that I had to do this, this, and this, right? So whether I believed in it or not, I had to do it, right, to get the thing. And then when I got it, it told me exactly what I was allowed to buy. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't buy certain things because it was either too much or blah, 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 but it was within a certain. And I said to myself, when you're trained this way, it's like, well, I want to get the most for my money. So I'm going to get the cheapest stuff out there. Then it's an education piece, it says it's fruit juice, but then in really small letters, like Gladiator Guru says, you need a magnifying glass. It says artificial flavoring. Nobody understands what that means. Artificial flavoring. They have no idea what that means. And they just go about it and it becomes generational. And all of a sudden you hear somebody say, oh, well, it's a genetic predisposition in people of African-American descent and those of a Latino descent, that it's generational, that it's genetics.
Those fucking liars. It's just poor eating habits.
Right.
of how
for
we were
generations. So it is.
Yeah.
It does become genetic. It becomes genetic because generationally they're eating badly, and each generation is providing less nutrients to its offspring.
Yep.
So
more guts, the gut is more screwed up, and then the person gets more addicted to the crappier foods because it's like it's a snowball effect. It's like this big snowball that just keeps coming down the mountain, and it really takes a lot of effort mentally and emotionally to say enough. I'm not doing this anymore. And
we need more people like Karen to train. We need platforms out there for those who really know. Like my gut has, it's been awful. So you have to.
We need to have a conversation then, Guru.
Huh?
I said we need to have a conversation. If your gut is awful, we need to have a conversation.
It is, and it's like we forget it is our universe, because when it's not aligned, we're off. There's no energy. There's no desires to want to do something. You don't even want to get dressed because you're bloated. So we have to treat it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the beautiful universe that it is, and make sure that it's always aligned. And now I'm going to be 53, and now is when I'm really taking note of this and wanting to learn more about it. But that's what it is. Like, you listen to the Badass Buddha right now, she's so passionate about what she's talking about, and it's true. But we need to get out there. We need to go stand in front of Nestle's chocolate or Hershey's chocolate and explain this to people. Because our children, and in my case, my grandchildren, are worthy, where they should be educated about this all the time. Because potato chips have all this sugar in it too, even though they're all like salty, and my granddaughter likes those taki that they're real hot and spicy thing, but you can taste the underlying of sugar in it. So that's what we need to do, because this is important.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Go ahead.
But one of the things that Buddha was talking about was that people of color are disproportionately affected, especially people who live in less economically affluent neighborhoods.
The projects.
Right, exactly. The projects, okay? The projects. The people who live in areas where there is a generally a low socioeconomic level, right? They also don't have access to good food, because the big grocery stores will not move into the areas.
Yes.
You have these little
bodegas.
Yeah. Convenience stores. They're highly priced, and all they're selling is Twinkies. Like they're selling Twinkies and coffee. And so people don't have, unless they have the ability to move out, to get out of their neighborhood to go shopping. So now you're leaving your area, and maybe you don't have transportation, so you're taking the bus. You have to go to the grocery store. If there's a bus stop near the grocery store, you have to lug your groceries back. And
much work.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, if you're feeding yourself bad food to begin with, then you don't feel like doing any of this stuff, right? So you don't feel like taking care of yourself. You feel like the next thing you're going to do is eat that bag of potato chips, because that's going to give you some quick false energy, and to go on to the next whatever you're doing. Then you're going to crash, and you're going to eat some more with some kind of crappy food. So, but you don't have the energy to maintain a lifestyle, or to start to maintain a lifestyle that is going to support your body or your family.
If you really want to, I know we're out of time, but if you really want to, if for those of you out there, if you really want to understand how serious this is, for those of you that don't live in urban areas, I'm going to encourage you, and so is Gladiator Guru and Karen, we're going to encourage you to go food shopping here. Just drive around, and Karen's right, lots of convenience stores. They have discount food stores. Go into the discount food stores. You will see brands you have never heard of in your life. You will see mostly canned and boxed foods, very small produce area, very small area of fresh stuff. And just go shopping. Like, you look and say, I'm going to buy this. Now, once you see this, then it is our responsibility, for those of us that do know better, to start educating the population. And whenever somebody's and say, listen, you can make better choices. And when they turn around and say, but I can't really afford it. Like, I don't make that much money. I've got to, okay, fine. Then See, this is what Karen's saying, is that if you get rid of the addiction and you get rid of all that processed crap, you will eat less, you will lose weight, and your money will be used accordingly. And because you're not eating as much, you're not feeling the need to stuff your face because your body's not starving. Your body is getting the nutrients it needs.
That's the whole training. You have to retrain an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's not going to be easy. Like, it's really not going to be easy.
Right. That's right.
So,
absolutely right.
So
yeah.
we're going to need you on the show again.
I know.
To list things, because like Anna had to go to work, Chenille, but Chenille said, thanks for the great, important conversation. And Anita said something. Anita said, she said something. I swear, Karen, she did. Oh, she said they need to keep us unhealthy, but she also had to go to work. So we're going to need you to come back on.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
It's important. And I think that, and for everybody who's still on, make sure you invite people to the next show, because this is very important. This is more important than the hair appointment, than the lash appointment. This is important. And I'm going to have my daughter-in-law, because even my son-in-law was on. And he said he only has coffee when I'm over their house. And so he was like, I'm really not that bad, is what he's saying. I'll get him later. I'm not going to make him coffee. But the thing is that, that people try, but like, I need my grandkids. I need their parents to hear what you have to say too, because they gave my 7-month-old granddaughter 2 pieces of cake. She was like, woo, all of my son, why you give her that? And I said, it couldn't be that serious. She gave her like 2 pieces of the cake. And she's already like, it was a quick effect on her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We need this conversation again. Yeah. We do. Let's have this again, because Charlotte, all of us, we all need it. I need it.
I'm happy to come back anytime, ladies.
This is fabulous. Reprogram bodies isn't easy. Thank you for having this conversation. You're welcome. The point to fit all. That's fabulous. And I think it's really great to have Karen back on, especially to talk about the gut brain connection. And because if we understand how the gut really works and the importance of it, we won't want to eat these things. We'll be like, holy crap. Because, if we tell you things like, well, by the way, that it's been proven with research that a poor gut health contributes to Alzheimer's disease, and Alzheimer's disease is growing like exponentially in this country. And if I say to myself, I'm 51 years old and I want to have my brain capacity until the moment of my last breath, then this becomes a really big thing, because especially what we do, all 3 of us, that we're educating people, that's a really big thing for me. And so, so little things like that, we definitely we could have like Karen on as, I'm telling you, as like a regular guest, right?
You're going to have to until we drive that nail into the coffin, especially about sugar, because it's the devil. It's in everything. So and look at how deceiving it is. You couldn't tell it apart from a pile of salt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we need to have that. So we look forward to having you back on again.
I would love to.
Let's continue this. Let's make this a series, because I think that let's talk about making it a series, because this needs to not only do we need to speak it, we need to hear it, we need to connect with it, we need to have it sewn into the tapestry of our souls.
I love how you talk.
I know.
I love it.
It's like phenomenal.
You're so poetic. It's amazing.
But it's true, right? You agree with me. So I'm really excited over today's show. It was great. Yes. Badass Buddha, but the information you shared, it's awesome. And that's why I was quiet, because I'm listening, and things, like I say, we know things, then we forget them. So this is why these platforms are important, because although we probably already knew it, we heard it, when we hear it again, it's like that light bulb. It's like that aha moment. And then we can go into our world today and say, oh my God, this morning I was listening to this and it reminded me, and it's absolutely right. What was it? Blah, blah, blah. So your message is going to be carried by several people today, because it's going to touch, it's going to affect. So let's disrupt the
There we
norm,
go.
and
I
make
am
it
in.
happen.
World domination, ladies.
Let's do this.
We
And
got it.
listen, we're going to really treat you this week, because not only do we have Karen on today, but Thursday we're going to have Donna Cadell on, and she's going to be talking about what you put in and what you take out of your body. So this is really going to be a great week for health and really like stepping up. And so, Karen, do me a favor when we end the broadcast, though, just stay on for a second, because Gladiator and I want to run something by you. But anyway, everybody, again, thank you so much, Karen, for coming on. We are so happy to have you. Please reach out and connect with Karen on Instagram. She also is on Facebook, and definitely reach out to her. And she's going to be on again. Like we said, we just love Karen. So and thank you all for really the conversations today were absolutely fabulous. And the information you also provided, because you've also educated us as well, which is really the whole point of this. Gladiator Guru, you have what else?
Yeah, just Karen, welcome aboard. Let's be authors together.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait.
For
That's
real.
gonna be
Yes.
fun.
Going to be fantastic. Chanel had to go to work, so she's not on right now. And that book we're all going to write is going to be fantastic.
Yes,
So
that's right. So we'll just say that
promote
really
it.
We'll say that really quickly. So we're doing a compilation book, Her Badass Story. So we still are looking for a few more authors if you want to do it. And Karen is one, Gladiator Guru, I am, Chanel Real Deal was on, and we have a few others. So, you know, if this is about empowering women, sharing your story of what you went through and how you triumphed and transformed your life. And this way you can change other people's lives. So you could just reach out to me and I will give you information. So thank you. So, and Gladiator Guru, that was beautiful that you mentioned that. So,
well, yeah, because what we're doing today here is, you know, we're each of us are our own super fucking hero. We wear our own cape. But when we come together, how powerful is that? And we got to remind women that we're the most powerful species in the universe. So if you have a story that you went from tragedy to triumph, from a victim to a victor, then tell your badass story. So yeah, join us. I would love, the more the merrier. We all have a story to tell. And although it's sad, we all have a story to tell, but tell me how you got out of it. That's what I tell people. We all went through shit, but tell me how you got out of it, and I'll tell you how I got out of it, and then we grow strong together.
That's right.
And that's what the badass, tell your badass stories about in your book. So if you want to write a book or be a part of a book, contact the Badass Buddha, and let's make this happen.
All right. So thank you everybody for coming on. And Gladiator Guru, you're a healthy caramel, and I'm good with that one. So you are the
lickable.
No calories either. But she can be addicting. She can be addicting. So just be warned. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday. Thanks so much for coming on. Karen, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you,
and
ladies.
From the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from me, the Gladiator Guru, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.